Hey Mauricio, welcome to a rebooted version of NFT Hype here. We're going to be talking to you about art and AI. And love to have you as the initial guest back after a long hiatus on this podcast. Been quite busy in the industry, just helping clients and also seeing a lot of developments over the last few years since we launched NFT Hype back in 2020, one of the first NFT podcasts ever. How have you been? And let us know a little bit about yourself.
Hey there, Johan. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. I'm Mauricio Rique. I'm also known as Mr. Riro or Crypto Chiapas in the Twitter sphere. I'm mostly just do, I guess, NFT art, crypto art. And I'm a developer by the side. So I also do work with Unity coding for mobile development. And yeah, that. It's been good. It's been good.
Where are you from, Mauricio?
I'm originally from Mexico, from Chiapas, which is like the southernmost state in Mexico. It's where the Lacandona jungle is in. I don't know if anyone will recognize that, but yeah, let me throw that out there.
So the first time I came across you and your art, Mauricio, was on the Wax blockchain. Um, Wax was one of the first sort of blockchains that I got involved into from an NFT perspective. They were going down the whole uh, collectibles route
Mm-hmm.
in early 2020 and even previously. And it was
Mm-hmm.
an easy pivot for them into NFTs. Uh, while I was on there collecting different things, GPK, Topps Baseball, I found your art and you were in the community, you were
Yeah.
in some auctions, you were actually releasing some art that looked like it was done by AI at the time. So you were
At the
actually,
time, yeah.
yeah, let us know a little bit about that.
Okay, so I guess I can also let me get it. Let me give a bit of background. I also joined Wax around 2020, which is when the first NFT train started. Like, I was just in the webs, and I came across with the term NFT, and I guess it became a huge rabbit hole from there. So with Wax, I came across Wax thanks to a friend. They recommended it to me, and I joined around. I don't know if you remember the Go Pepe trading cards.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I remember around that time, and it wasn't at first that I became like into creating NFTs, but rather just collecting. And like you said, like I guess the whole collectible thing was what pulled me into Wax. So when I think I waited like 3 months before doing my first NFT on Wax. When I first did that, I didn't know what to do really. I didn't know how to, I guess, give my art a concept that I could work on. So thinking about things and researching a bit, I'm a huge photography fan by the side. So I kind of bounced around an idea of how to make animations with photography, and then I came to find one software that allowed you to do this sort of geometrization of pictures. Like you uploaded a picture into the software, and then the software gave you a picture back, but I guess reimaginized as only using geometrical forms, basic geometrical forms. And I guess from there, you could say it was like sort of AI-ish back at the time, but it has definitely blown up until now, I guess, because the algorithms have been getting better. But back then, I guess AI made sense because it wasn't like your typical AI, but rather like there's a name for it. I can't remember quite right now what it is, but it's basically in the middle between going from from something very basic, some computer program that's very basic, to artificial intelligence, what it's generally accepted as artificial intelligence. But I guess, yeah, you could say it was kind of going to the AI direction because of the way the program learns or abstracts the image and then reimaginizes it, making it like this whole new artwork that comes out of it. Don't know if I explained myself correctly there. Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, and I still own some of your NFTs,
Thank you,
they
man.
were, yeah, I was a big supporter of you. And I feel like I liked it because, well, it was animated, right? So it wasn't a static image. But I feel like what you're saying is that it started as a static image, and then through some algorithms, it broke it reconstituted that image based on just geometric shapes.
Yeah, pretty much. That was what happened. At first, I guess I knew I wanted to do something related to photography, but I didn't want it to look or feel like a static image, like almost every other NFT out there. So the idea of animating it's usually that part is all manual labor. What the software does is that it throws back a GIF file, but I do some editing to it and make it look like it's like animating more quickly, and these sort of loops that you've seen before on my artworks.
Ah, right. It looped. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, it looped. But that part, that the whole animation process is all handmade. Like I go into Premiere and edit some frames and do some kind of adjusting here and there.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. So also the original image was yours?
Yeah, every image is mine, aside the one collab that I did with Classy.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, with him. That was the only image that he only asked me to geometrize and animate, and we did this sort of collab. But other than that, every other image is mine. I've taken all of them.
That was I like them, and I especially like the looping part because it's just like I feel like I was a collector as well back then, and just having images like that, I always just envision it as up on a digital screen somewhere and being left there to just be. And most of the times I think having a nice looped image would be great. And that's how I've always collected, right? So I definitely thought that at the time your pieces were worth the collecting. So
thank you. And yeah, I guess I could say it's a digital image that you can leave hanging around somewhere, and it will keep behaving like it does. Like it will keep looping, and anyone who comes across it will see that. I guess going into the route of internet culture, it's mostly related to like the GIF files and GIF videos that we send to each other on chats and all of that. And most of them are loopable. So I guess that's one way of putting it. Like you always expect something on the web to be static, but something that always highlights or gets more. I guess it's easier to catch to the eye. It's always like the GIF images or anything that's animated, like you said.
So that brings up a good point, actually. I mean, if you look at traditional art done on a canvas or traditional medium, it's always a static image. And, it's been done for centuries. However, with this whole movement of digital art, it's the movement, the looping, the sound could possibly even be there. It just brings in a total new experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as an artist, do you find like there's an upside to that, or people love in real life stuff, things like you can't obviously touch that art other than a smooth screen, but you can hear it and you can have a extra sensory, experience, but you can't touch it, you know. So
Yeah, it's not tangible. I guess that was one of the key discussions back when NFTs first started, but it was also one among the first discussions when digital art started. Like, people thought of digital art as something not worthwhile because it wasn't physical. And I guess since art's a representation of its era, it makes sense for art to begin take most forms, like you say, like this new canvas that you get using audio, using video, using animations, using static images, all of that. For sure, I guess it's important for some to have like the physical artwork, but going into a digital space or a digital era before NFTs, there wasn't really a way of, I guess, giving something like property
mhm.
or this concept of property.
Until
I don't know
NFTs,
if
really.
until NFTs. Yeah, I know you understand it, but for some of them out, for some of the listeners that might not understand what we mean, is that basically before having some sort of token or some sort of proof that told you that this was a unique piece of data, digital images could be downloadable, and they still are, but it's not the same. Like when you buy a house, the paper that gives you the ownership of the house is just a piece of paper,
Yeah.
but you are really not the you really don't have that space. You only have a piece of paper that tells you you are the owner. But say, for example, if tomorrow something were to happen and you were to lose that or something, I don't know, anything crazy, there really isn't some sort of concept or abstraction that we can have to properly recognize someone as the owner. With NFTs is so going into that way, like what you mentioned. NFTs became this sort of way of verifying ownership or of something, of some piece of digital data, and I guess that kind of opened up the whole bottle. But
Yeah, it's like
like,
trying to sell that piece now becomes
yeah, trying
increasingly
to sell
difficult if it's not
for sure.
yours, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, uh I guess if we go into that, like, art theft has always happened. People trying to copy other people's artworks always has happened, even from medieval times. I mean, there's known it's known in the art industry to, like, for the forgery stuff. Like, there are people who learn a lot about some specific artist, and they try to make forgeries of their artworks to try and sell them. Like, it's, if you think about it, it's pretty much the same thing that has happened before, but with this new lens of everything is digital, everything is on the web, pretty much. So some sort of transformation of the things that have always happened.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because I was talking to uh, a legal expert who is a expert on NFTs as well, and
Mhm.
he mentioned that NFTs and art on NFTs is almost as big an art movement as some of the big art movements that happened back in the past. Like, for example, Cubism or modernism or all of those movements, they or Impressionism, NFTs have added to the art world on that level, and we're going to be looking back in 20 years and going, wow, this was a huge movement and a shift.
Yeah,
um,
definitely. Mostly, I guess, because of the democratization of accessing the art industry. Going a bit into what you mentioned, that you reminded me of something one friend said once. I believe, what was it? No, I'm sorry, no, it wasn't a friend. I believe, I'm sure it was back in 2021, 2022. There was this event at Mexico City called the Non-NFT Summit, and I got to go there, meet some friends that we hung around, and there was conversations going on there, and someone mentioned that NFTs, not all NFTs are crypto art, but all of the crypto artworks out there are NFTs.
Right.
So that's what I guess what you're going with, like the since NFTs can be pretty much anything, the art aspects of it definitely open up, like the genie's bottle, the genie's lamp. I don't know how to explain that properly in English, but it definitely opened a whole lot of possibilities to people that that weren't there before. And as you say, we will be looking backwards in the future and seeing like what sort of ideas, what sort of concepts the NFTs brought to the art industry as a whole, for sure.
So, like, given that evolution now, and you made a good distinction there that the NFT technology is something new. It proves digital ownership, like you've said. So we've had the original rail of the blockchain. Now we've added an additional rail on top of that of the NFT. So now that affects certain things, and not every piece of not every NFT is art. So then that comes to, like, an NFT could be a ticket or a proof of attendance or something like that, a POAP.
Yeah.
But is NFT tech now being used to further the art movement? What does AI do to this now? Because here you now have a whole bunch of tools that have been introduced to artists, would-be artists of all different levels, the ability to produce digital art that are sometimes beautiful and sometimes great and sometimes not their original stuff in a way. Like, how does this affect the industry?
Well, as a whole, let me, I guess, first start with AI became this sort of like boom back with, like similar with NFTs, where everyone was trying to use it. But the key distinction here is that AI allows for far more experimentation and far more imaginary possibilities, for an individual. If you wanted to make, for example, 1,000 artworks, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, you needed to do them all. Maybe you could automatize some part of the process, but you really wouldn't be able to do that as quick as you can now. I guess that's the key element of AI here. Like it enables artists to be self-sufficient at a further level. Like you can now have access to this array of tools that you can use for expanding your own artworks. And I guess the question here really is, how will it be used? Because I mean, it's like anything, I believe AI is just a tool. I don't know if you've seen like the whole debacle that has been going on, for example, with the Hollywood writers, that they're on strike and I guess trying to fight AI, some sort of AI issues in
I
their
saw
industry.
that.
For sure. Like there are a lot of valid concerns that people have. I do share some of them, but at the end of the day, I still believe AI is just a tool, and it will really depend on us how we use it. For example, if we go into the whole, like, everything right now is like murky water. You really don't know what's right, what's wrong. But always been positive that if you know, for example, what's the some sort of rules that we all can agree on, like for example, theft is wrong, um, copying something and claiming it's yours is wrong. Don't lie. Some like the basic rules that we can all share. I guess we can also apply them here. Like for example, if you want to make original content, yes, you can use, for example, some sort of stable diffusion model to create your images. But if you want to be like as original as possible, you could also just use your own pictures to train the model. I don't know if that kind of
Interesting.
explains it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess.
that does. So I think what you're trying to say is that the story and the lore is also an important part of the art itself.
I mean, it always has been. Back in college, I studied digital arts in college, and we had like all of the usual art classes that you would see in any other art course. So one part of that was always the concept. For something to be considered art, I guess some can say it really doesn't need to have a concept, but for me, if something if an artwork doesn't transmit some sort of idea that the author wants to portray, it really can't be considered artwork, because if else, then it's not really trying to transmit everything. It's just a blob of things. I don't
Ah,
know if I explain myself there,
no,
but
what I'm hearing is like if I just went on a prompt frenzy and came up with some cool looking pieces, it may not be as cool as if there was some sort of idea behind it.
yeah, for sure, because at the end of the day, it kind of translates this into you just hit random, a random button, and you don't really know what you are doing. But for example, if you begin with a concept that you know, and I don't, maybe you want to use the AI, for example, to create, I don't know, maybe an image um, of planets or galaxies, for example, you are coming from a concept that you first imagined and then executed, which is different than first executing it, then imagining it. I
So
mean, it's some sort of experimentative process for sure, but at the end of the day, I am sure there definitely needs to be some sort of underlying idea behind each artwork.
So I get where you're coming from. Like I'm a trained engineer and this has
Yeah.
nothing to do with any of my training. So, but you as a trained artist, I feel like that it was something that was definitely in your curriculum and it totally makes sense. So I'm glad I'm having
Yeah.
this conversation with you because it's opening up my eyes.
Yeah, no worries. And I guess it really depends who you ask. There are artists that will claim, for example, not all artwork needs to be conceptually complex. And at the end of the day, I guess for NFTs, going back a bit to the key issue here, for NFTs, it's still, I guess, sort of early to tell what will happen, but you can definitely see some sort of uh, roads that the industry is taking, or artists are going for.
So you mentioned that NFTs definitely democratizes the market. So
Yeah,
that enables an artist to sell their work, right?
for
For
sure, for
example,
sure.
you being where you are in your part of the world allowed you to find me, who was a collector of your art in another
Yeah.
part of the world, right? Like that's by itself, that is a step forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, really. Like, I never imagined myself. getting to know people from all over the world thanks to the NFT space and Twitter for sure, and Telegram. I guess for us, because Wax was mostly Telegram groups back then, and you really didn't have any other choice than just be there.
Yeah.
And that kind of, it was definitely an eye-opening moment. Like you get to know people, interesting people, friends even, and they are all in different parts of the world. And that, I guess, having come from a small town in Chiapas, you really don't get to see that very often.
Yeah. Have you
So
ever been
yeah,
outside of Mexico?
not really. I guess
Wow.
Guatemala could be one, but it's kind of a joke we tell between people from Chiapas that Chiapas is pretty much just Guatemala.
Okay.
Yeah, because we share. We were part of the Guatemalan Republic before we joined Mexico, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but it was after the Spanish colonies fell here in South America and North America, and everyone just became independent, right? So Chiapas was part of Guatemala. And then we had some sort of issues there, and we ended up getting into Mexico. We got annexed by Mexico by choice.
Interesting. I have a
Yeah.
feeling I that Chiapas has a pyramid.
Yeah, we do. We do. So Mayans lived there, and they inhabited most of what everyone knows, like the part of the Yucatan Peninsula, where Cancun is, and all of the other more known pyramids. But Mayans lived in Chiapas around, I believe, from 2000 years to 1000 years ago. Not
Okay.
sure. Yeah, it was they lived there, and we have a lot of ruins there. There are some that even say that we haven't discovered them all,
Wow.
because yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, Chiapas is pretty big for sure. Like, I guess I don't know exactly how big it is, but I'm sure it's like at least more big than Spain for
Oh,
sure.
really? So you can drive
Yeah.
from one end to the other in how long do you think?
Maybe 5 hours, 6 hours.
Okay. That gives a good idea
Yeah,
of size.
yeah, maybe longer, because it's a mountainous terrain, and there aren't a lot of developed roads.
Ah,
So there are parts of it that you can't really go any other way other than walking, or maybe through a river or something.
okay.
It's kind
Interesting.
of, yeah, it's kind of a virgin territory still. It's
Wow.
nice. It's nice. It's like taking a trip back in time.
I think my father went there on a trip to Mexico. Maybe I think I remember him saying something about that pyramid. Yeah. So, Mauricio, let's get back to the AI stuff.
Okay.
We have the Rails that allows you to sell something to me,
Mm-hmm.
and we have that's in place. Now we have the increased productivity of an artist, and also the the increased, I guess you'd say, supply of art on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of it as increased supply. I
Yeah,
could
for
go out there
sure.
and create a piece now, which is very exciting to me because of I've always wanted to do a collection, but I've always wanted it to have some sort of idea behind it. So what you're saying is, it's now the time is ripe for something like that. So somebody like me
Yeah,
who's been on the
definitely.
sidelines for a long time, I finally could probably put something out there that's visually appealing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the democratization that AI brings, and also NFTs together, it's like you say, exponential. And definitely, if there's anyone like you out there that wants to go into creating art and NFTs, I highly encourage that. I highly encourage you to take that trip, because I guess it's exciting. And at the end of the day, like you say, the full supply of the market is now more diluted because of the democratization of technologies such as this. But at the end of the day, I guess going back a bit to the concept thing, if you try to do unique things, some things that want to transmit something special to you and also have a deeper meaning, then that on its own stands much more than if you were to just mint a PFP collection using AI. Don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, like kooky crocodiles or something weird, right? Like,
yeah,
I get you.
because that's pretty much like an already known concept, and just I guess dilutes more the market. And yeah, it's just a it's just a trend that everyone will get tired of at the end of the day.
Yeah, fair enough. Now I'm looking at some of the tools out there to actually do some of these things, and I'm reading through things like let's see here. There's Canva has some AI tools, Night Cafe, Midjourney,
Yeah,
Deep
Midjourney.
AI.
There are a lot of tools right now. They're really, I guess, if anyone wants to work with these, feel free to experiment with them all, because they all have their unique specifications, right? You could see maybe something more simple coming out of, I don't know, maybe Stable Diffusion than other models or other other models. But it's definitely like the tools are out there for sure. And there
So
are a lot of tools for everything, like creating images, creating art text, creating video, creating voice. So it really much depends, I guess, right now, what is it that you want to transmit, and what are the tools that you want to use. I guess
the
that's
major players, I guess, are OpenAI and Stability AI.
yeah,
One has DAL-E and the other one has Stable Diffusion.
it's Stable Diffusion, yes.
And I see some of the pros and cons of these. Like they're definitely fast and you have to be good at prompting. My
Yeah.
partner also uses Stable Diffusion quite a bit in Midjourney to come up with different things, and the images are just so great.
Yeah.
Now, do you know anything about the copyrights regarding this stuff?
For copyrights, as far as I know, it's like going back into what I mentioned. Like, as long as you don't train your model with copyrighted images, you're good to go. But
I
at the end
see.
of the day, yeah, that at least that's what I know. I'm not sure. It's still early to find some sort of ruling, but I guess it kind of depends. How much does your artwork uh, has from other images? I'm not sure how to navigate this, to be honest. It's some sort of complex thing to do for sure.
What I'm seeing is like some
Um,
of the tools it depends on the tool that you're using.
yeah,
Like some could be the image is copyrighted and you have certain commercial rights to it, and some that you don't. So definitely check out the terms of the tool that you're using to
yeah,
do.
definitely. Yeah, that's definitely one good idea. For sure. Also, I guess going into that part would be, uh, don't overuse AI too much, because there are ways for. I believe I've seen headlines and read some news that there are definitely ways of knowing if one content is AI generated, but also going into like where does everything come from, like trying to pinpoint exactly where it came from.
That's a good that's a good
Yeah, there are there are some developers working on that, I'm sure. But I'm not certain if that's doable right now.
So
So
what I hear you're saying is like you almost have to give credit to the AI tool in your sort of
I'm
credits.
not sure if to the AI tool, but definitely make it known. I guess, because at the end of the day, everyone can look up what you did, what you upload onto the internet, and with NFTs they know who did it, right? So
Interesting.
I
Okay.
guess, yeah, I guess this is mostly a question of just don't overuse, and I guess be cautious about it. I guess that would be
It feels
one,
like
yeah,
a lot
one
of
tip.
the mystery is gone with the creation of art, which could be a good thing. I mean, right? I feel
I
like
mean, for sure, for sure. So with AI and NFTs, I'm guessing we will be exploring a lot more about the what humans think of art. Like there will be something that we can, at the end of the day, agree that it's art, based off of the experiences that we get from the use of NFTs and AI, for example. I still don't know what or how many things we will see, like what concepts will arise from this, but I can definitely see that happening, like with data.
right. So the ethics behind the creation of art is just have become so much more important.
For sure,
Um,
for
I-
sure.
I'm reading an article here around the ethics of making and publishing AI art, and um, there's a quote by Nicholas Cole that says the generative system can't function without the stolen life's work of countless passionate people just like me. They each brought their lived experiences, opinions, fixations, and points of view to their bodies of work, only now to have them smashed together inexpertly and touted as original art. So,
Yeah, that's one concern I do have. Like I know for a fact, for certain, that for a lot of people, having their artwork stolen mean much to them. Definitely. Do we need a proper way to navigate this? I guess there are people that say some regulation is in order for things like this, for example, with copyright and all of that. So I guess going back a bit, it's always like be cautious, don't overuse it, but also try to make something new. Try to make something that you did, not anyone, not someone else.
yeah, that's
That's
a
that's
good.
a, that's at the end of the day, that's what art is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, Mauricio, I just wanted to say thank you for joining me on this podcast today. It was an excellent conversation. Where can people catch up with you and find more about what you're up to?
You can definitely search me at Twitter, at Chiapas Crypto,
Okay.
or in any any other social media. You can find me in Instagram. I think it's Mr. underscore R underscore RIRO, Mr. R Riro, something like that. But definitely on Twitter. You'll see me more on Twitter.
I will link your bio with this release. So, again,
Okay,
thanks
thank you.
again for the awesome talk. It was awesome having you on there, and we should probably do a follow up one talking about the deeper issues that go along and maybe some headlines that happen
Yeah,
in
definitely.
this.
I would be honored, and thank you for the invite. It was a pleasure, Johan.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thanks again for tuning in, folks. Bye.